person carries immense inborn potential, a genius within. Right now, just as you are, you already have within you the inborn ability to start or develop a theory, a company, a product, or a service that could significantly improve the lives of at least 1 billion people within 10 years. And thus generate wealth beyond what you could possibly spend in a lifetime. Yet, in their entire lifespan, most people use less than 1/100th of 1% of that brain power. It's like owning a supercomputer and using it just to power a wall clock, just for the purpose of telling the time. That's tragic. Low productivity is a silent epidemic, keeping millions busy but unfulfilled. No matter how hard you work, if your type of work isn't in the organizing category, your chance of becoming truly rich and financially free is zero. The problem isn't effort, it's awareness. A few years back, I was part of the team of architects working on the head office building of a multinational organization. During one of my site rounds, something caught my eye. A WC system slanted at a slight angle. It looked like it was falling. Carefully, I moved closer to check, not wanting to worsen what seemed to be a bad situation. But when I checked, it was firmly fixed, but wrongly. So I asked the installer, "Did you use a level when fixing it?" "Yes, sir, I did," he responded confidently. "Okay, where is your level?" He gladly brought it out. "Please use it to check the alignment again, so we know what's happening." He smiled, full of confidence, placed the level on the system, and proudly said, "Chief, please come and see for yourself. It's on the line. It's perfectly level." Right there, it clicked. He had the right tool, but was using it wrongly. However, confidently. He wasn't careless. He wasn't lazy. He simply didn't know. And worse, he didn't know that he didn't know. And that is unconscious incompetence at play. The number one habit that holds people back. This one within a profession. But there are a whole lot of other domains, especially life skills or soft skills, where a lot of people demonstrate unconscious incompetence and suffer needlessly. I'll give you some practical examples of how these habits shows up in at least 5 key areas of life: fulfillment, wealth creation, education, time mastery, leadership, and others. My name is Egyir. I am an architect, a designer, and a life coach, author of Purpose Compass and over 14 other books in the areas of effective personal development, ethical entrepreneurship, and true leadership. I am an entrepreneur and the chief seer of the global Seers community. For over 2 decades, I've been helping individuals and organizations build purpose-driven and stress-free success, transforming stress into clarity, work into fulfillment, and passion into wealth. In this video, you will get to understand the number one habit that quietly holds most people back and be able to evaluate your situation so you can rise far above the 97%, begin to harness your true or hidden potential, and get to live a truly fulfilling life. And I have a special gift for you towards the end of the video. Over several years of research and coaching, I've discovered 4 popular habits that quietly run people's lives and keep them stuck in the 97% low productivity and lack of true fulfillment. I can almost guarantee that you might already be exhibiting at least 3 of those habits in your life. They are not obvious. In fact, they look normal. But once you see them, you can never unsee them. Habit 1 is called unconscious incompetence. Not knowing what you don't know and being perfectly okay while oblivious, with no inclination to find out more knowledge on your own to significantly improve applicable present capabilities. This is one of the biggest problems of many who graduate from formal schools, and of course, those who graduate from apprenticeships too. And here's what's interesting. Those who have not been through formal training often entertain the possibility that they could be exhibiting some incompetence and are more open to learn, unlike those of us, the educated ones with certificates. Let's talk more about education then, because this is where unconscious incompetence hides best. The word education comes from Latin roots, meaning to draw out, to bring forth what already lies within. That's what true education is meant to do, to bring out your hidden genius. But what we mostly see in formal schools, the system that shapes most of us, isn't that kind of education. It's something else. Largely, it produces relatively affordable, compliant workers, not necessarily creative and adventurous intellectuals. That's why Nobel laureate Sir William Arthur Lewis said, education and schooling are not the same thing. What goes on in the schools is often not education, and the result may well be that it reduces productive capacity rather than increases it. Every person carries immense inborn potential, a genius within. You see, you were born a normal child with every potential already in you. The brain and organs you came into this world with are similar to the brain and organs any great achiever you know of came into the world with. Likewise, your people. Please share this video with them and let them know. Fundamentally, we are all the same model deep inside us. So nobody knows your maximum potential. It's that huge. As for your minimum potential, I have a fair idea. Right now, just as you are, you already have within you the inborn ability to start or develop a theory, a company, a product, or a service that could significantly improve the lives of at least 1 billion people within 10 years. And thus generate wealth beyond what you could possibly spend in a lifetime. That's not an exaggeration. That's truly your minimum inborn potential. A gift placed in you by your creator before you were born. Even if you've never felt it or heard it before, it's there. You don't have to pray to receive it. You already have it. You simply need to take the right steps to bring it out. And when you do, you achieve amazing feats and enjoy fantastic rewards. In my full training sessions, I usually help people to practically see that possibility for themselves through some amazing demonstrations. And especially after teaching the 8-step creative thinking strategy to begin to unearth that potential, I usually caution people to be patient and learn the bridling principles as well in order not to misuse the discovery. When I say that you already have the inborn potential to start or develop a theory, a company, a product, or a service that could significantly improve the lives of at least 1 billion people within 10 years, and thus generate wealth beyond what you could possibly spend in a lifetime, I am making a statement of fact. Think of an uncut diamond, rough, dull, unattractive. It's still a diamond. It just needs polishing to shine. You are that diamond. Your diamondness, that is your genius, is already inside you. I can almost hear you asking, so if the potential is already there, Why is it that most people do not really shine? One word: conditioning. Yes. Let me show you what I mean through a short story. There was once an eaglet, a baby eagle, as you know, that was picked up by a farmer and raised among turkeys. Because it lived with turkeys, it learned the ways of turkeys. It scratched the ground for food like turkeys. It hardly flew, and whenever it attempted to fly, it only flapped its wings briefly and landed again, just like turkeys do. Every now and then, it will look up and see mighty eagles soaring high in the sky. Deep inside, something stirred. It admired the eagle's strength and beauty and wished it could be like that, but immediately dismissed the thought, believing, I'm just a turkey. That life is not for me. Yet, by nature, it was an eagle, born with the strength, vision, and ability to soar higher and higher. It lived a mediocre life like a turkey, not because it lacked the ability to be an eagle, but because it didn't know what it really was. And it didn't know that it didn't know. Very much like many people today. That is unconscious incompetence in its purest form. And that's what family, society, school, and the other pillars of culture do to us. That's why Professor Alan Snyder, the man behind the theory of optical fiber, said, everybody has inner genius, but it's our perception, that is our education, that prevents us from tapping into it. As if to jolt the school system, Albert Einstein also said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. They are right. For instance, our brain processes hundreds of words per minute, stores more data than a supercomputer, and seamlessly performs tasks that artificial intelligence still struggles to replicate. Yet, in their entire lifespan, most people use less than 1/100th of 1% of that brain power. It's like owning a supercomputer and using it just to power a wall clock, just for the purpose of telling the time. That's tragic. Formal schooling activates only about 22% of your success potential. A Harvard University study noted that aptitude is responsible for only 15% of success in life, and attitude accounts for 85%. Yet 90% of formal education is focused on developing aptitude, only 10% on developing the right attitudes. Research done under the auspices of other institutions, including Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, corroborates this. So, the higher you climb the academic ladder, you tend to know more and more about less and less. And that's where unconscious incompetence takes root. Most of what you learn in school through the standard curriculum has little or no direct use in your personal life. Some of the rules you were rewarded for memorizing and recalling actually block your progress later, even if you scored top grades for recalling them in classwork and exams. So after you graduate, you must acquire completely different knowledge, skills, and attitudes for life and work. And if you don't, you are screwed. Sadly, many don't, and it shows. The problem isn't effort, it's awareness. I promise to give you some practical examples of how this habit shows up in at least 5 key areas of life. Let's look at happiness and fulfillment. It will interest you to note that there are 3 main degrees of happiness and fulfillment in life. The highest level is the meaningful life, and the lowest is the pleasant life. It is the meaningful life that brings true fulfillment. But what school teaches mostly keeps you within the pleasant life category. A quick real-life example to illustrate this. Not long ago, two professionals, both in their 40s, both with families, both highly respected in society, ended their own lives on the very same day. Pure coincidence, but a haunting one. One was a pastor and author, known for helping people find hope again. He had even written a book about how God can give you a better life. And the other was a seasoned psychologist. He was head of mental health services at a top university in America and a renowned conference speaker on the issue of resilience, one of the most important topics of our time. These were people others turned to for strength, and they seemed to have it all together. Yet, quietly, they were falling apart and eventually lost the fight themselves. May their souls rest in perfect peace. I tell this story to make the point that not all that glitters is gold. Millions today look quite okay on the outside, yet broken within. We chase titles, money, and applause, but deep down, something is missing. A situation many acknowledge in their private moments. Surveys show that over 80% of people aren't happy with their work. Across the world, 8 out of 10 people wake up wishing they didn't have to do the work they do. This is one major source of stress, and it is so serious to the extent that nearly 90% of hospital cases aren't caused by germs or infections, but by stress. It is estimated that stress accounts for some 63% of the causes of deaths. It is that serious. The greatest tragedy in life is that majority of people have accepted to be less than they were born to be, and are thus accomplishing far less than their true capabilities. And they are not truly fulfilled in life. We are talking about some 97% of people, to the extent that globally, out of 100 businesses that start, 80 collapse within 5 years. Of the 20 that remain, 16 more fail within the next 4 years. That means after 9 years of starting, only 4 businesses remain standing. And of those 4, just one makes a significant profit. Low productivity is a silent epidemic keeping millions busy but unfulfilled. Let's focus a bit more on wealth creation. There are 3 classes of work. The lowest category is routing, and the highest is organizing. It's the organizing kind of work that can produce true wealth. Throughout history, no one working solely in the other categories has ever become financially free and truly rich. Ever. Unfortunately, what school teaches keeps most people within categories other than organizing. That is why most people work so hard their entire lives and still end up relatively poor or financially stressed. Not because they are lazy or unlucky, but because they were never properly taught how wealth actually works. Here's a quick thought experiment that illustrates the point. Imagine that all the money in the world is gathered together and redistributed equally to every person in the world. Call it a reset. Within a few months, most of the money would flow right back to those who were already rich before the reset. They know and apply principles others don't know and don't even know that they don't know. Since those principles are not usually taught or even mentioned in school or church. So most people use a very ineffective approach when trying to make money. They energetically climb a staircase that leads to the wrong apartment. I once lived this personally. Unconscious incompetence gave me baptism of fire when I started my first registered business after 6 years of university education. Mind you, I was adjudged an excellent student when I was in school. It didn't mean much. The world after school is no respecter of academic grades. School doesn't teach true wealth creation, and it shows. That's why Alvin Toffler said that the illiterates of the future are not those who cannot read or write, but rather those who cannot learn or learn and relearn. And this is where many well-educated, hard-working people still get trapped. Even with good academic credentials, many end up frustrated, underpaid, or tempted by unethical shortcuts, aka corruption or thievery. Others start businesses without learning systems, strategy, and so on, and burn out. It's amazing how a lot of people in business do not even know what true profit is, let alone the lock and key principle, effective prospecting methods, lead magnet, or the fact that a subscription-based business is far better than a project-based business, and so many other issues. Thus, many businesses are not actually making a significant profit, if at all, but the owners think they are, and so they wonder where all the money goes. Let me emphasize that no matter how hard you work, if your type of work isn't in the organizing category, your chance of becoming truly rich and financially free is zero. That's the hard truth. And that's where most people miss it and keep expecting miracles. But never in the history of humankind has that kind of miracle ever happened. And it's not likely to. If you are interested in going deep into wealth creation, and especially how to start a business right, even without cash of your own, and if you are already in business, how to troubleshoot the business and get to know what you might be doing wrong and save yourself a lot of wastage and frustration, and also adjust for exponential growth, go to seersapp.com/masterclass. You will thank me later. Next example, let's look at learning. Most students are never taught the proper way to learn, so they cram facts just to pass exams. There are 12 methods of learning, each with a different potency. The most common, reading, is actually the least effective. So after 2 weeks of reading, you remember only about 10% of what you read. There are higher methods that help you to remember essentially everything, even after 2 weeks. Yet, you are hardly taught these in school, even though learning is your main job as a student. And it doesn't even occur to most students to learn how to learn. The next example is about time mastery. Most people live under time stress, the tail rather wagging the dog, because they've never been trained to master time effectively. Many don't even see it as a skill to learn, let alone master. Yet, with proper time mastery, you can achieve in 3 months what you would normally take a year plus, without stress or burnout. Now let's look at leadership. Let me ask you, are you happy with your leaders or bosses? And if you are a leader or a boss yourself, are your people happy with you? I mean, truly happy with you, and not the usual unfulfilling subordinates love to do. Remember what we said about organizational performance, that most organizations underperform because people underperform, to the extent that 80% of businesses collapse within their first 5 years. And that after 9 years of starting, only 4% remain standing. and just 1% makes a significant profit. Well, besides the fact that it's because some 97% of the people have accepted to be less than they were born to be and are thus accomplishing far less than their true capabilities, it's also the result of leadership failure stemming from unconscious incompetence. In most organizations, only 15% of staff know their organization or department's top goals, and barely 3% feel excited about the top goals. That's not laziness. That's ineffective leadership at play, because leadership is cause, everything else is effect. The problem is, there are 5 levels of leadership, but most leaders remain at the lower levels, where people follow because they have to, not because they want to. A few rise a little higher, leading by results, but even they rarely go far enough to transform people. That's why we see widespread apathy, low engagement, and transactional cultures everywhere. In a sense, many people in leadership positions aren't truly leading. They are merely presiding. They occupy offices, have titles, give orders, hold meetings, but move no hearts. And that's not all. Even the way people connect at first-time meetings is ineffective, but they don't know. And they don't know that they don't know. They give out paper business cards, yet 88% of paper business cards are discarded within a week, without the receivers ever saving the details. Besides being prone to transfer errors, 9 out of 10 paper business cards are thrown away within 7 days, without the receivers ever taking the trouble to patiently save the contact details on their phone first. That's contact lost and opportunities denied. Essentially, a wasteful endeavor. Today, the smartest way to connect is a smart business card. For example, when I meet someone who needs my contact details, I just pull out my smart business card and simply show it to their phone. Instantly, my profile, contact details appear on their phone. Fast, easy, neat. I've increased my callback rate by over 70% because, in addition to the top of mind awareness it creates, it ensures that people save my contact details on their phones. 1, immediately. 2, without errors in my name, number, designation, etc. Also, I've saved over 90% in printing costs because I never have to print a business card again. I've been using it since COVID time. When anything changes about my contact details, I simply go to a simple interface and update it in no time, and instantly it reflects on the smart business card. No waiting to reprint anything. This is the only business card I'll ever need. Get to try a sample for yourself for free. Simply text the word SMART to +233 54 981 6114 via SMS or WhatsApp. A person will get in touch and arrange a sample for you to try anywhere in the world. Distance is not a problem. You definitely know a few people who deserve such a smart business card. Let them know. Share the opportunity with them. They will be eternally grateful to you. Still on the issue of unconscious incompetence. Even in matters of faith and relationships, we follow rituals without knowing, understanding, and applying the right principles. And we act as though that's okay, because we don't know, and we don't know that we don't know. We are unconsciously incompetent, doing our best in the wrong ways, and wondering why things are not working. So whether it's education, time mastery, wealth creation, leadership, faith, or relationships, etc., The real battle is between what you know, what you don't know, and what you don't know that you don't know. The second habit is so funny, dangerous nonetheless. You will see yourself in it. And when you do, something deep inside you will finally click and you'll be laughing at yourself. Just go to seersapp.com/PC for the next video, or simply text the word purpose to +233 54 981 6114 via SMS or WhatsApp, and we'll send you the video immediately for free. But it is available for a limited time only. In times past, these videos were exclusive to Seers community members only. We are making them available for a short period only, so get them now while they are still available. To add to that, I'm going to give you one of my books for free. Now, the question is, how do you avoid or overcome the problem of unconscious incompetence? That's obvious, right? I'm sure that even as I went through the examples, you could already figure out what to do. Great. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comment section. By the way, when I'm done with all 4 habits and go into their remedies, there are 7 powerful steps that can help you deal with all 4 habits at once and help you to live a truly fulfilling life and achieve extreme productivity faster than you could ever imagine. Quick note, I'm live every Wednesday at 20 hours GMT for a pure Q&A session. 20 hours GMT or 8 p.m. local time every Wednesday. Bring your questions and let's explore them together. You will find a joining link on my webpage, egyir.org/live. You also find a link to the book gift there. See all the links I've mentioned in this presentation in a clickable format in the caption or description for this video. And remember, the greatest tragedy in life is that majority of people have accepted to be less than they were born to be and are thus accomplishing far less than their true capabilities. And they are not truly fulfilled in life. But when you know the right things, the boundaries around your life suddenly disappear. See you in the next video. God bless you.
The world has changed. Essentially, everything has gone digital, including business cards. We are in the era of smart business cards. A smart business card is like a bank card. It has a microchip in it. A user needs just one. And with that special single smart business card, one can share and save contact details and more to a prospect's phone with just a single tap. With swag. For instance, you just show the smart business card to the person's phone and bingo! The contact details get transmitted wirelessly, correctly and instantly onto the person's phone. Someone calls it a miracle business card. Just go to seersapp.com/SBC or scan the QR code and get free guidance.